Hello, everybody from Dr. Filippo, and welcome to another episode of the Achiever on the Make. So today with me, got Katrina. So thank you for being with us. And now I really believe Katrina is a big achiever. I'm not going to spoil much because she's going to tell you everything about it. But I'm really honored to have you on the show with us. So the first thing I always ask to everything I have on my show is to tell us a little bit about you. What can you say?
Sure. So I'm a physio by background and a Pilates teacher. I've been working for 13 years now since I qualified, and have never done the conventional route of the NHS. So when I qualified, say 13 years ago, then we were in a very different job situation to where we are now. They'd massively overtrained physios for the NHS and then didn't have enough jobs for us at the other end. So day one of physio school was just to let you know, we now know the government's really messed up. They're training all of you, and about half of you are never going to have work. So good luck. Enjoy the next 3 years of your degree program, and have fun. And that was it. So we kind of knew from the start that I wouldn't just be able to bank on the traditional physio route of going into the NHS, do your 2 years rotations, decide what you want to specialise in, get a senior post, which was just how life had always been up until the year that I qualified. And before then, it was pretty unthinkable that you'd go into private practice straight away as a physio. But that all had to change.
Wow, I didn't know
I'm
that.
very glad it did, because I wouldn't be here now.
Wow. How many years ago did you say that was?
13.
Okay, right. So why was it there weren't too many physio? Is that the reason?
Yeah, so the government at the time had released all these white papers saying like the future of the NHS is to be preventative and get everybody exercising and solve our chronic illness problems that are going on now. And we think physio is a solution to this. So these are all the things that we want the NHS to implement. So this will ask the trust, how many more new physios do you think you're going to need to meet these targets and put on these new services? So they all looked at it and went back and went, well, we'll need like an extra 75 physios or something. You know, if you want us to do that in 5 years, then that's what we'll need. So the government went, okay, fine, we'll pay for all their training places. It was a government funded degree back then. It's not now, but it was. So they created all these extra training places and then forgot to make the jobs at the other end. So they just had way too many new graduates coming out for the number of roles that they actually then had available. Yeah, it's not ideal when you've done a vocational degree at the start of uni, but as I say, it all works out for the best.
Yeah, it did. So tell us, because I mean, you got a successful practice. We'll get into that in a second. But before you tell us about it, tell me why did you decide to become a physio in the first place? What's your why?
So my original why is not the great story that a lot of practitioners have. Obviously, a lot of people they've had some massive problem in their childhood or adolescence, or maybe found it later in life when they've gone through a health challenge. And I really didn't. I just have a mum who's a teacher and did a lot of careersy thinking with us as we were going into kind of GCSE choices and A-level choices. So we've gone through various options of I like sports and I like biology and I was good at science. I like working with people. So kind of going through what the options for a career could be from that. And we discounted things like PE teaching and sports coaching and stuff already. And then she came back from an appointment with a physio and went, you should be a physio. Like, it all makes sense. This is my mum, like, has these moments of like, wow, this is just like everything sorted. You should do it. It ticks all the boxes and you'd be really good. So go train as a physio. I think I was about 14 at the time and went and did some work experience and went, yeah, I can see myself doing that. That fits. And kind of just went along with it. And then got to uni, and for the first 2 years, probably then struggled a little bit because from 14 to 18, 19, I was thinking, like, this is just it. I'm making all my choices around it, and this is the thing I'm going to do and what I'm going to be. And then got to uni and kind of went, is this it? Like, the academic side was fine. Like it was stuff I enjoyed studying.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of placements in the NHS. As physios, you have to go and do kind of month blocks on different wards, and it was important work. Like you were there to get someone who was really sick out of bed and get them able to walk down the corridors to the toilet again so they could be discharged home. So it's like really essential work, but I was just a bit, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I think I thought it was going to be something bigger behind it. So I guess the first 2 years I struggled a little bit because I didn't have my why. Why am I doing this? Other than I've started it now, so I'm going to finish it. And I think it was the end of my second year, I arranged an elective placement for the summer and went to a professional rugby league club thinking I want to be a sports physio. Like I've always been sporty. That's kind of what I think I want to do.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. I got there and when I'm not really sure that I want to do this either for a whole bunch of other reasons.
Yeah.
I'm not that into the ethics in professional sports, I found out, and it just didn't sit very well with me. Some of the things you had to do to get players on the pitch for a Saturday, again, it just didn't fit. But fortunately, he ran a private practice alongside the rugby club, and it was there with some of the people that he was working with that I kind of went, now I can see myself doing that. And it was just a different group of people. He had a different relationship with them. They were coming into him at a very different point with different needs. And you could see that you made much more of a difference to someone's life through doing it. So that kind of gave me the glimmer of hope of, I think that's what I want to do in the future. And it was kind of enough then for me to go back and do my final year with enough enthusiasm to go and qualify.
Okay.
And I think through the whole degree, the only other area that I got to experience that I thought I might want to do was stroke rehab. And when I look back at it now with a few years maturity, again, it's because it's that big wow change around moment. You know, if someone's come into hospital having just had a stroke, lost so much of their function, and then you get to work with them over whatever period and restore them to it. Yeah. Like that for me was kind of where I got that same job satisfaction and the wow from. So yeah, mine was kind of more of an evolving journey. Yeah. And then I don't think it was really until I went into my first job, which they happened to be private practice because of the situation at the time, and happened to be doing scoliosis rehab. So it was completely random career path for a newly qualified physio who should have been going and spending months rotating around all these hospital wards. You know, consolidate your experience, decide what you want to do, to suddenly go like hyper niche. I only do scoliosis as my first job. But again, I'm really glad that I did, because again, that gave me the same sort of passion and purpose that the people that were coming in were obviously at quite a low point quite often. They didn't have many options left open to them. You know, a lot of the kids, particularly the parents, were coming in and going, well, we've been told it's spinal surgery, or oh, that's it. Wow. You know, really, does my 14-year-old child have to have that operation? Is there really no other hope in life for them than that? So to be able to offer people an alternative that was very empowering and very educationally based, for them to learn how to understand their own bodies and have tools that they could use to look after their bodies, I think that was kind of then when I kind of really found my groove as a professional. So it was a very, very evolving why throughout my career, and with better understanding of myself. Which
is quite cool, because I've been interviewing other practitioner and actually other people in business, and they just, you know, something happened, something clicked, and they knew what they wanted to do. But I like the fact that you've been evolving in the profession, which is quite cool. And but there's one thing that I want to ask you. I'm just curious about. You said when you were working with athletes, was it a rugby club? There was something you didn't like about, you know, putting the players back in the pitch. Can I ask you what was that? Was there something unethical or something that, you know, we were do?
So
If I can
that
ask.
particular one,
Don't know if I can.
yeah, no, I mean it's long enough ago. It's all anonymous now, but no, that particular one was a guy who they had a big game at the weekend, like the biggest in the club's history, and he had a rib injury, and the solution was, well, let's just inject it. Like he can't play with nothing because he's in too much pain, so let's just inject him and put him back out because we have to have him out. So we'll inject it, we'll put him in like a plastic brace thingy to protect it, and then off he goes. So yeah, that was kind of a big unit going, I'm not sure that's in his long-term best interest. But again, that's his choice to make. He's a grown man. But just for my career, I didn't want my career to be sat between a club coach, a club doctor, me, and a player who are all coming from very different perspectives and arguing about the right thing. So again, I didn't kind of know it with the clarity at the time. But I guess now, again, knowing myself a bit better, then I'm maybe quite outspoken in my opinions now, and like I want to just be able to say my opinion and not have to constantly be arguing with other people about what it is. So that's probably how I've ended up now with my own business.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So all those stories like you see in movies are actually real.
Yeah, absolutely. And players who fractured something mid-match and just carried on. Adrenaline's so high that they just, don't care. Like they are carrying. Like I think particularly rugby players are a bit of a special breed with these things. But they're just, I'm going back on. I don't care. And that's probably why it's taken until the last couple of years to bring in all the new concussion rules that they've got now. Because so many players would have taken such a bad knock to the head and just been like, I don't care. I'm getting back on that pitch.
Wow.
Like, you're not stopping me, because they're not prioritizing their health.
Yeah.
They're just in the zone of like, I'm playing and I'm competitive and I want to get back out there. So yeah, it was an eye opener. But again, it's just another one that I kind of had thought that's what I'm going to be. Let's do the glamour thing of physio, be the pitch side, rugby, football, physio, and then got there and went, no, thank you.
Wow.
Maybe not.
That's pretty intense. So on the other side, you've been, how long have you had your own business?
Oh, sorry, I lost you there. You froze.
Oh, can you hear me?
I've got you back now. Yeah.
How long have you got your own business?
Oh gosh, not long. February last year. So we only had 13, 14 months open before lockdown happened.
Okay. And my next question is, how many people have you got working with you?
We were up to 6 full-time therapists at the point that we closed.
So that's pretty cool. So in a year, you opened your own business and you had quite a few people working for you. How did you do that?
A lot of marketing, a lot of hard work, a lot of teaching and coaching. As you know what it's like as practitioners, we go to uni and we get our clinical skills, but nobody then ever teaches you how to manage a client, communicate properly with the clients, explain long-term care plans to somebody, let alone how to run a business and market it. So fortunately, as you know how we met through Ryan, I've already worked with Ryan for 10 years before deciding to do this. So we're kind of in the right place. The first thing that we did was sign on for his new patient avalanche course as soon as we had the premises secured. Then we just booked on to do that together, and just ran with it. Just did everything we were told.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So that will lead to my next question, Katrina. When these people that is going to listen to this might be a practitioner like we are, or whatever other practitioner, might be like a student, or might be like a mom or a father that is stuck and is thinking about his dream or like a goal, something that he wants to do, and they don't know what's the next move is to be taken. So what is it, one or two advice that you would give to someone that is stuck in reaching their dream? Something that, as soon as we're finished talking, they'll be like, oh, I like what Katrina said, let's put it into practice right away.
So I think from my own experience, and then working with my husband Dan, who's not a practitioner, but we now run the business together, the first thing is stop and think about what your dream is and why you want to achieve it, which might sound silly, but I think so many of us carry an idea of what our dreams and our goals are with us, you know, from an early age, without ever really thinking about, well, is that actually true to me? Is that what I want to do? And I say, you know, I kind of did it the long way, from just deciding randomly at 14, you know, going through a few years, then getting there and going, oh, well, really, is this why? And as it happens for me, I was kind of in the right field, but I just didn't really have it nailed down. So that from lockdown, we've been doing a lot of personal development work around finding your life purpose, which wasn't really a concept that I'd ever thought about. So I've kind of gone as deep as like values and beliefs.
Yeah.
So we made sure that the clinic was in line with our values and our beliefs. But then in sort of NLP world, there's the step before that, which is just your life purpose. You know, why are you here, and what brings you the greatest joy and the greatest satisfaction in life, and you know, what's your biggest driver? If you're having a day that it's hard to get out of bed and you're tired, as we're all going to have, like if you think of your life purpose, that's going to make you get out of bed. And if your dream and your goal isn't really going to fulfill that, then you're possibly always going to quit before you reach it, because it's going to be hard. Like no one can pretend that reaching our big goals and dreams is going to be easy. So if it's something that isn't really aligned with you and you don't really know what you're going to get from it, then it's quite hard to stick with.
Yes, I agree.
So I say the first thing is actually go back a step and question whether you set the right goal for yourself and why.
Okay, it will lead to the next question. How do you, let's say, you know, someone is in a career, maybe like, you know, has a business already, and they're like, they're not sure, they're not driven anymore, or they're not sure about it. What would you suggest to find out their purpose, or what they really love, what they're really passionate about?
So we just did it working with a coach. It's the quickest way. You know, I guess people, you'll have heard people talk about, you can either be like a DIY person who can just take a book, watch a program, solve it all yourself, get fit with no, you know, you don't have to have any gear at home, anyone kicking your butt, you'll be fit. But very few people fall into that camp. Like most people are do it with me, like I want to do it, but I kind of need someone to help me and guide me and push me in the right direction. So we just worked with a coach. We both did some individual sessions with her, just asking us questions and drawing information out of us, and then did a couple of joint sessions at the end to kind of help us tie together sort of what our separate life purposes are. But then if we're in a business relationship and a marriage, like how does that tie in as a partnership as well? So like I'd always say just work with somebody who that's what they do, because you're going to get there a lot faster than you are trying to muddle through on your own.
That's awesome. I think
get a lot more clarity.
I think a lot of people have like this misunderstanding about, you know, coaching or mentoring, and they think, oh, I don't need that. But I think, you know, finding someone that knows, as you said, how to help you out to get there faster, it's key.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we look at opening the practice, we might have got there on our own in the end, but you know, did we get further in a year by working with a coach than we would have done otherwise? Of course we did. Absolutely. And it's the same when it comes to the sort of personal and the relationship development stuff. I guess that's where there's almost a bigger stigma. You know, people accept that if you want to be really good in a sport or at the gym, you get a coach. You know, you'd never expect to be a world champion gymnast on your own. You're going to have a coach that teaches you how to do it.
That's awesome.
The same as if your car breaks down, you're probably going to take it to a mechanic and get it fixed. You know, the people who tinker around trying to fix it themselves, unless they're that very small percentage who know what they're doing, they'll tinker around for hours and days and then finally give up and take it to a garage. But there's still a lot of stigma around the personal development and the relationship development. This, if you see a coach or a therapist, and there must be something wrong with you, or you know, and it's just using somebody else to help draw things out of you and give you an input so that you do get clarity and get the right answers. So I think having kind of a personal coach and a business coach is can be two separate people, could be the same person, who knows.
Mm.
But
I like,
if someone's so
yeah, I like what you said, because I think sometimes it requires to be humble, to ask for help, and you clarify why you need to, be humble, ask for help. And I think what the comparison you made with the mechanic, or you need to, if you want to exceed in a sport, you ask for help, and it's the same thing with a job and anything else in life.
yeah. I guess it's often hard when it is either your personal development or your relationship, because it's probably going to mean tapping into something, not that you're doing wrong, but that you need to change in your own behaviors, and that can be hard to accept. So that often puts a lot of people off. But if they're striving for a goal that just they're not feeling motivated, and they're not, just something's not clicking, they're not getting there, then that's probably the first thing, is to look at why. Because otherwise you can put in all the strategies. You could work with a business coach who can tell you, well, advertise here and do this and do that, but if at some other level it's just not right for you, or there's something that you're not doing that's congruent, then it just doesn't quite gel. And then on the days that it is hard, you're gonna want to give up. Even when it is in your life purpose, you'll have days that you want to give up. But at least then you can kind of go back to well, no, that this is why it's important, and it's worth sticking through it.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you gave, Katrina, you gave so much value. And so whoever's going to listen to this is, I'm sure is going to think, okay, whether they've been thinking or not, or whether they think they've been thinking, they'll be thinking deeper. So,
Good.
so that's awesome. So I'm mindful of your time, and I want to thank you for being in the show. But there's one more thing I want to ask you. If someone wants to get in touch with you, want to know more about what you do, and what program, what you're into, what's the best way to do it?
Just drop me an email. So Katrina, Katrina, at Lake Therapy, LakeTherapy.co.uk.
Awesome. So what, probably I'll put it on the link. So when I load it up on YouTube, I'll put the email there so that someone can get in touch with you the way they want it. So thank you again for being on the show. It's been amazing, and I took some notes because I'm learning all the time, and I love it. I love what you taught tonight. So thank you again, and good luck with everything.
Thank you. You too.
All
Absolute
right.
pleasure. See
Cheers.
you
Bye,
soon.
Katrina.